Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. You know, the new elected, how should I put it, the three parties that formed the Italian government tried to put together a government between Salvini, Berlusconi and Meloni. We have Berlusconi, and Berlusconi, he is 86, I think, 86 years old. He's a billionaire, he's an accomplished politician, businessman. He has seen everything, and I don't think he has a reason to be afraid of anything, including death. So he made some statements, and not only that he made some statements, but this coalition, the three parties, were attacked by the mass media and the weasel so-called liberals from day one when they started having or displaying a chance to win the elections in Italy. The mass media started, doing its little dirty job in portraying them as Nazis, fascists, started using names like Mussolini, Hitler and all that to associate these guys with. Maybe people will just move away from them, but I think the reaction was the opposite. In this case we have Berlusconi, who made some statements because he doesn't give a shit, right, at his age and for the reason I already mentioned, and he is very proud of his relationship with Vladimir Putin. And obviously these weasels from the mass media try to destroy anything that's about this coalition. So they will try to use some recordings of Berlusconi when he talks about Zelensky, when he talks about the Russian special operation in Ukraine, about Putin, trying to frame this guy as being a big liability. Therefore, the coalition being they already call it a far-right coalition and so on, which is obviously meant to mean that this coalition is a fascist coalition. Even though fascism looked more like a socialist thing, don't forget, what's his name, Mussolini was a socialist at the beginning, wasn't he? And he idolized, I can't remember that guy's name, a socialist, Italian socialist, I can't remember, he was Jewish. Surprise, surprise, I can't remember his name right now, but do 2 clicks for me. This article comes from Bloomberg, and it's from October 20th, 2022, and this is the title: Italy's Berlusconi blames Zelensky for Russia's invasion. So Italy's Silvio Berlusconi told lawmakers that Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky pushed Russian President Vladimir Putin into an endless war, according to audio obtained by an Italian newswire, despite preponderance of evidence to the contrary. Okay, so they have to cover. That was unnecessary here. They just have to let it. Okay, this guy said this, but no, they said contrary to the evidence. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so that means he's an idiot, according to Reuters, no, Bloomberg. The same thing, same shit. The recording sheds further light on the pressure to soften Italy's stance towards Russia in the right-wing coalition that won elections on September 25. Its publication follows that of another recording, apparently from the same meeting with lawmakers, where Berlusconi recounted how he had revived ties with Putin. And then the remarks came while right-wing leader Giorgia Meloni is struggling to agree on cabinet posts with Berlusconi and other allies. She has vowed not to change Italy's pro-Ukraine stance and said she supports sending weapons and aid to Ukraine. They mention this here to hold her accountable. That is, hey, you said that. Don't change that. If you change that, we're going to be on you. So it's like they try to put pressure on her, saying, hey, you said you're going to be with them, so you got to be with them. That's basically what that little paragraph was over there. It says that Russia invaded Ukraine in February after having previously built up a military presence on the Ukrainian border, on Russian border with Ukraine, thus escalating tensions with its neighbor. Okay, all right. And the NATO has now rockets in Romania and Poland. It doesn't escalate anything, right? They're aimed at Iran, as far as I remember. And NATO states have armies in what? Poland, Lithuania, Romania, right? But they don't escalate anything, and they want to put it in. They want to put armies in a NATO installation in Ukraine. So that's not escalation whatsoever, right? But this is escalation. It's so foolish. So it says here that to justify the invasion, Putin accused Ukraine government of genocide, and quote, against ethnic Russians and native Russian speakers in the Donbass and Donbass. There should be a dot right there, no? Period. But no, it says, comma, an unfounded allegation wholly rejected by Ukraine as well as US and EU states. This is a job piece. You know? In the audio, which was published by the La Presse Newswire on Wednesday, Berlusconi, 86, can be heard saying that Putin did not want to go to war, but was pushed to do so because of Ukraine's continued attacks against Russian-backed separatists in Donbass. After his election, Zelensky tripled the attacks against the breakaway republics, according to Berlusconi, and Putin intervened to replace him with a government already formed by a Ukrainian minority, formed by honest, sensible people. End quote. He entered, I'm quoting again, he entered Ukraine and found a situation he could not have predicted, of resistance from the Ukrainians, who started receiving money and arms from the West on day 3. End quote. Berlusconi said, and I'm quoting again, so instead of being a 2-week operation, the war became a 200-year plus struggle. Well, so that's one of whatever Berlusconi has to say, and he's not afraid to say it, it seems like. And he made these comments. He also says that for his birthday, I think he received some vodka from Putin and some a sweet letter, and in response Berlusconi sent Putin some Lambrusco wine, which is good. Anyway, so see, Berlusconi says things that these guys don't like being said. They're partly true. Certain things what Berlusconi said is just an, you can say, interpretation of facts, which you know how that could be. You know, you see this and you say this is a bomb, but the fact is this is a pair of glasses, but you want to see it differently even if you look at it. But I don't think Berlusconi is that off, because it's true that Putin entered over there to defend the Russian connationals being killed by the Ukrainian army. That's a fact. It's not me pulling out my fucking ass, right? That's why it was. After the coup in Ukraine in 2014, organized by some guys and now are the sponsors, right? And this guy said, no, we're not going to recognize you. You just took over a legitimate government. Okay, we're going to send tanks. We're going to make you be ours. And they said, no, we're not going to be yours, and so on. And since 2014 until 2022, the Russians estimate that about 15,000 Russians were killed by the Ukrainian army. Okay, not sleet and rain and whatever, snow and ice. Anyway, so that's, you know, it's there. It's not me saying that just because I just woke up and say it. Now, it's true that these guys entered, I don't think to change the regime of Zelensky, because I think he could have been blown up the first 2-3 days. I'm pretty sure of that. I don't think that's accurate. But anyway, exactly what they wanted to do, they said, we're going to go here, get this, have a referendum, grab that territory, get the Russians safe to our territory, back to Mother Russia, and somehow we're going to make those guys do something. Well, they didn't probably think that United States will be 99% invested in it. 1% is the army. That's all it's missing in Ukraine. Now, regarding switching and changing Zelensky, I don't think so. It's true, the West, day 3, provided these guys with everything, so that's accurate. To change the regime with some honest, decent people, I don't know. Anything is better than the guys in charge of Ukraine right now, I guess. Look at them, and they are at total control by foreigners. They're not allies here. They're not, the guys who helped me fight the Russians. No, we are fighting your war here under the pretext that we're defending our nation. First, you're not part of those guys, just to start with that. Okay, just You wanna? That's fine, but it's not a coincidence that there's four of you right there in in the leadership, one elected somehow, and then three appointed in the main positions. Is that a sign of some coincidence here, right? Like you have, let's say, for let's say Palestinians from Gaza being one of the president of Israel, the other one being prime minister of Israel, the other one chief of Mossad, the other one chief of the armed forces, and the other one, I don't know what the hell could be over there. It's just a coincidence, and all appointed by an elected official, right? It's just a coincidence that the Palestinians just appointed Palestinians in Israel. Anyway, it's just BS. So Berlusconi is not an idiot here, and I think he can blame Zelensky for certain things, not Zelensky. Zelensky is just, he can be blamed maybe for one thing, that he instead of looking at the interest of Ukrainian nation, he was on the payroll of the other guys over there. That's the only thing that I think he continues to do. Instead of looking at the interest of the Ukrainian nation, he looked at the interest of those guys, and he acted accordingly, and the war is going to go until the Ukrainian nation that supposedly he defends is going to disappear, going to be eliminated. And what's going to happen? Those guys over there will activate other nations, like Romania, maybe, like stupid those Baltic states who they will be used. I don't know if Poland, Georgia, there are many countries that these guys, Kazakhstan, I don't know, Armenia, this kind of countries, and they will activate all these things, create problems over there, and they'll continue. And then when that nation is going to be decimated, it's going to go to the next one, decimated, and by the end, the Russians probably going to be decimated themselves. And who's winning? The Ukrainian nation. And Zelensky will be just fine. And in case he gets in trouble, he's going to go either to Israel, London, or United States. We've seen this before, so what's new? Thank you very much. And Berlusconi, you know, he has nothing to lose at this point. Only his life. And I think he... Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.